Warriors are AFLW Premiers for the first time.
So join in the chorus and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back to Kanga TV, the home of North Melbourne fans. Today is Sunday the 1st of December and we've woken up premiers. Our North Melbourne girls have taken out the AFLW Premiership last night, defeating Brisbane by 30 points at Ikon Park. Let's have a chat about it. After going undefeated the entire AFLW season, our girls have topped off an incredible year by winning the 9th AFLW flag in front of a full house at Ikon Park last night. The atmosphere was just electric. The crowd and the energy at Ikon Park was unmatched. I have not heard such a passionate, united North Melbourne fan base for a very, very long time. And it was just something so special to be a part of. The vibes were high. The energy was so, so high. It was a really, really special night for everyone involved, from the players, the coaches, the entire football club, and obviously the fans as well. We've been waiting a very, very long time to see some success down at North Melbourne, and that was just about the best way to top off what has been a very long year for North fans, I think, to say the least. North were in control all game and set a really solid tone from the get-go. Brisbane didn't really look like they were much of a chance. While they did appear threatening when they were going forward at some stage, North were really able to steer the ship and really control the footy and bring it back into their own hands. The back line is just unbreakable, and it's something that we've spoken about all season when it comes to the W, but you've got this rock solid defense of Jasmine Ferguson, Libby Birch, Sarah Wright, and then Emma Carney coming back in just her third game for the season was probably her best game of the year. One of the best games I've seen her play. Talk about an inspirational leader. She was absolutely leading the way on field with her actions earlier. Her and Sarah Wright, in my opinion, were two of the best players on the ground, as well as the best on-ground medal winner, Jazzy Garner. She finally received her medal, and I think I can speak for her confidently and say that that premiership medal is the one that she would have preferred than the AFLW Best Player of the Year award that was handed out earlier in the week. I think what was so impressive about the win is that we've so often just put teams away by 8, 9, 10 goals this season, but the ability to also be able to grind it out when required is a really underrated skill to have, and I think that's something that our girls really, it's just about a perfect season. Our only blemish was a draw against Geelong at Arden Street earlier in the year in the pouring wet and cold. So from that perspective, I think that our ability to turn on the jets when required and then just grind out and chew down time when the opposition looks like they potentially could be threatening or looking to get on a run is a really, really underrated skill that a lot of football teams don't have, and it's something that it's a really fine balance, and I think the girls have clearly been able to somewhat master that. They really did burst out of the blocks really, really early. They really set the tone that this was our game from the very, very start. And then later on in the game when Brisbane did look like they were potentially going to start coming back into the game. And there were moments like that. There were definitely moments where Brisbane really looked like they were threatening and they were starting to move the ball forward. We just went into defensive mode. We just put the pressure on, came out on top, and it was quite an inspiring performance. A really, really remarkable, well-played game of football. Veterans in Wright and Carney rock solid down back. Superstars Ash Riddell and Jasmine Garner putting on a show in the middle, and up forward it was the young guns Vicky Wall and Alice O'Loughlin absolutely putting on a show. They were the stars up forward last night. There was a couple moments where Alice O'Loughlin looked a little bit shaky. She looked to pass off a shot on goal and ended up turning it over. It ended up in the hands of a Brisbane player. She also had a free kick played against her in the pocket. I think it was in the second quarter. It was a holding the ball free kick that not a lot of fans agreed with. There was a lot of uproar from the stands, but she did redeem herself. 3 goals to Alice, 2 goals to Vicky Wall, along with a number of bone-crunching tackles that we know and love. It really was a well-rounded performance. Everyone played their role. Tess Craven also played a really, really crucial role. She pushed up forward. She kicked the first goal of the game for North, and she played this great role, almost looked like on the wing, like she was running, she was down back, she was up forward. Her running was a really, really crucial part of that game. She really created space and gave us options where we might not have had something. And I think that definitely has to be spoken about, especially last week, getting absolutely winded in the second quarter, coming out, playing a ripper second half, and then backing it up again last night has to be spoken about. I mean, I could go on all day. This team is so special, and the floor of this team is so well raised that there's not much between the best players on the ground and the rest, and that is one of the key things I think our men's team can really look to draw inspiration on as we head in to prepare for season 2025. Now, admittedly, my journey with AFLW has been hit and miss probably up until this season. I've gone to a few games here and there and I've taken some interest in it being the North Melbourne women's side, but I've never really been heavily invested in it. This is probably the first season I've been genuinely invested. I've gone to most games. I know all of the players now, and it's just a really nice feeling to be able to go to the footy, enjoy it, have a great time, see us win. It is a very, very luxurious position to be in, to watch us win every single game of the season, bar one. So I understand that there might not be another season like this, but I think that it's just a really, really important thing for the club, not just for the fans, but for the club as a whole. We need to adopt a one club mentality, because the success of the women's team and the discipline and the way they go about it is, not saying it's a juxtaposed to the men's team, but the men's team's been sitting at the bottom of the ladder for so many seasons now. And I think as a fan base, as a collective, we are getting quite restless, and we do want to start seeing some improvement and start to move up the ladder. And I've spoken many times in this off season so far that I'm really bullish about what we really can do for next season. And I think that the women could be an inspiration for the men and potentially give them a bit of a sense of hope about what is possible and what we can do. I don't think there's much left to change. I think it's really just starting to come together as a team and come together as one club and be able to make that push up the ladder. So I think that for a lot of people, the women's isn't their thing. The women's footy isn't significant to them, and that's okay. If you're not interested, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I haven't really been invested in it up until this season myself. But for those who are invested in it, enjoy it. It's such a special thing. Any premiership in any code across any competition is special. If you play local league football or soccer and your team wins a premiership and you play in that premiership side, it's probably special to you, and it's probably special to your family and friends and to the club as a whole. That's exactly what we could derive from that as the North Melbourne Football Club heading into season 2025. It doesn't have to matter to you, but if it does matter to you, then it can be so special. It also is so much more than just about winning a premiership and winning culture. It is important, and on field, that is what the business is all about. It's about winning games and winning flags and bringing success to the football club. But for a lot of people, this is something they can aspire to be. There's going to be plenty of girls sitting in the crowd that one day will probably pull on the blue and white jumper and say, oh, remember when I was at North's first ever W Premiership, and remember when I saw my heroes Jasmine Garner and Jenna Bruton and Ash Riddell running around on the field. It gives a lot of people a sense of belonging as well. And like I said, a sense of hope. For so many people, the North Melbourne Football Club is more than just a sport. It's a sense of belonging. It's a sense of community. It's a place where they feel like they can really just let go and be themselves. And that in itself is something that's worth celebrating. I'm going to leave it there. We will definitely be back at different stages in the next few weeks. We'll definitely have a chat with Bella Eddy, our resident AFLW superstar premiership player now as well, to add to her resume, and a few other fans and players to come during the off season. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to Kanga TV. If you like the content coming out, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and continue the conversation and the celebrations over on social media. Kanga TV Show on Instagram and on X. I look forward to seeing you soon.